Okay, so today we're going to be analyzing a solve right here, a 23.45 mean of 3. So let's just head right into it. Basically what he does is he sees these two pieces, which is really good because what he can do is move this piece in and this piece in, and he knows they're just going to be a D prime away. So it's really good that he did that first. Okay, and then what he did immediately is just a D after that. But what you want to be looking for is to solve multiple pieces at a time. So in this scenario, for the cross, here's just what I would do. I would do a B2 right here to move this piece in like he did before. R2 to move this piece in. But also, instead of doing the D right after, what you could do is move this piece over here. L, F prime, like that. So you're putting them in at the same time also, instead of doing the D and then having to look around. So make sure you plan that in inspection your whole entire cross, because it doesn't seem like you could like one look your whole entire cross. Try practicing that so you can get used to it a bit more. And yeah, it looks like over here you could have just did an R prime instead of doing the R there. It's probably you were a bit confused. And once again, try to one look your cross. Okay, so he does the green and orange pair first. Okay, I think that's a decent solution, I'd say, but I think there was something else that you could have done there instead. You could use F moves. I mean, I understand the edge might have been in the opposite slot, so if it was something like this, I mean the edge was right here, what you could have done is solve it from right here. You had the edge in the front, so you did R, U, R prime, and then you had to get it into the back slot. What you could do, this is more of an advanced algorithm, instead of rotating and inserting it, because the back left slot actually is the worst slot to put it in because you're not as used to it, and then you do an S move like that, L prime, S prime, and now it's solved down here. That's just a cool way of inserting it, once again like this. Okay, I'd say that pair was pretty good. You're already eliminating the back slots there, which is really good. I believe that is the green and red pair, so you took it out right there pretty well. Okay, I gotta say, I gotta give it to you. That one was a good pair. I would have done that. Now you have both of the right slots open. Okay, so you had a pair that was paired up like this, just like that. Not completely what I was showing before, but basically, as you can see, you have these two, and what you had to do is split it up. But learning tricks like this, you had to like solve it in two different ways. Like you had to take it out and then split it up. You want to be able to take the pair out and then also be able to insert it, make it a split pair or a free pair, so something like that. Let's see if I can get the case for the red and blue pair. Let's say you insert the corner here, U prime, and then to pair it up you go like this, R, U prime, R prime, U, R, U prime, R prime. Just like that. Okay, and your final pair here is this red and blue one. So I can already tell if you do the regular insertion, you're definitely going to get no edges oriented on the top, which is not something we want. And I have a trick for that if you do that. Okay, so let's see. Alright, so immediately you split it up, but I'll just show you a better solution for that. You don't want to split the pair up. Let's pretend that all the edges are not oriented. And what we can do is right here do R, U2, R prime to split it up like this. And as you can see, let's say all our edges are not oriented, and what you do is the same S move, insert S, R, U, R prime, inserting the pair like that, and then S prime. And then it should have at least two edges oriented there. Okay, so here OLL, you're having a little bit of trouble. You kind of did this this kind of weird push or sort of like pinch for OLL, but you don't want to do that. You're not familiar with your finger tricks. I can definitely tell that here. You had a dot case, so I would go for just doing this finger trick, putting your thumb at the front, going like this, F, U, R, U prime, R prime, F prime. Nothing fancy. Don't try to go for any fancy finger tricks here. Just keep it real simple. And there you go. Okay, rest of it was fine. Okay, and then right here you kind of do fumble. You had a line case right here, and you had the line right here. You want to make sure the line is horizontal, not vertical. Just be a little bit more familiar. Know exactly what happens when you're doing the case and what case is going to happen next, especially with dot cases, because it is the worst one. Okay, and also that OLL I just wanted to say was a really easy one. You can do it from this angle, and what you could do is F inverse sexy, so F U R U prime R prime U R U prime R prime, and then F prime. You can also do it from this angle right here, headlights on the left, and do wide F double sexy like that, and now you have your OLL solved. That's just a simple one. I think that's an easy OLL that you can get to know. Okay, so for this right here, what you're doing is triple sexy. I wouldn't recommend doing that. The standard algorithm for this goes like this. You hold headlights in the front like this, and it's a better 2-gen solution instead of doing the F, because it's more moves when you do that solution. Just do R, U2, R prime, U prime, R, U, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R prime. And what it basically is it's just two soons, just one of them is canceled into each other. But if you do learn COLL, this is the case here when you have matching colors here and then matching colors here, and they're both opposite. And then that would give you all of the corners oriented. Okay, OLL is solved, and now you have an A perm. Okay, so you're having trouble recognizing. Make sure you have good two-sided PLL recognition, because that is something that is extremely important, especially at your speed. Resource I would recommend is going to cubeskills.com, and there is a resource there that can train your two-sided PLL recognition. So what you can do is just look from this angle, do a solve, and then when you get to PLL, look at only two sides and see if you can recognize what case that is, and then close your eyes and actually do it. But you rotate like that. One other thing, don't rotate when you're doing your A-perm. I gotta say, just do, if it's misaligned like this, just do the algorithm from here instead of matching up the block, because that's gonna slow you down as well. Okay, apart from that, everything else was good for the rest of the solve here. Okay, so here's solve number 2. You start it over here with red in the front and yellow at the top. So looking at it, I'd say this is a really easy cross, especially for white. So you pick it up, immediately do a D2, really nice. That's exactly what I would do. But also in this scenario, you can easily look for first pair because the cross is really easy. It's a 3-move cross. I think I would see this, the red and blue pair, because it's really easy. Once you do a D2, they're going to be paired up sort of like this. You can also look for the green and red pair here. Yeah, and also one other thing, you have your whole hand on it like this, the cube. Make sure it's like over here in home grip, and if you go like this, it's not going to be good. Make sure you have good finger tricks for your cross. The first pair is this orange and red here, pretty nice. You pair it up like that, and then I'm pretty sure you're going to have to rotate, but I'll show you a cool trick for that. Okay, so you rotate it to insert it, but what you can do here is and then, like I said before, sort of like cool thing to do is just do an F, R prime, F prime, and like that. So wide F, R prime, wide F prime. And it's really simple. You can just insert it right there. Okay, next up, you do rotate twice here, and that is something that you do not want to do. Right here, once you inserted this pair into the front right here, you could see this pair. I know it's not the best ideal scenario, especially because you're going to have your two front slots filled up, but you could also look over here, and once you do this pair, you could just insert it over here. Like that, this orange and green. Easily for this red and blue pair, you could pair it up like this, like you probably would have done. But apart from that, just don't rotate twice when you're doing F12. If you rotate twice, then you can probably do it in no rotations at all. Okay, that pair was pretty solid there. Now you look, it's over here, you have the two front slots empty, and now it's really easy for you to just look ahead to it, to do your pairs. Okay, there you go. I think that was a pretty good pair, and then now you're just left with the free pair for your last one. Oh, okay. So you're rotating here, which is not good. Don't rotate. You could recognize that free pair already right there and just insert it straight there. Also, don't look at what you're solving currently at the moment. Getting more familiar with your cases, once you have that down, be sure to also look ahead to your next piece, what they're doing, how they're being manipulated around, so you have a better idea of what is coming up next, so you can have an easier transition into your next pair. There you go. Simple solution there. Okay, so this pair, I didn't expect you to know this OLL at all. I won't go over it, but that's just an OLL that you could learn in the future. Okay, standard OLL here, but you can do this in no regrips, that OLL. So that OLL right there, you regrip twice because you always put your thumb at the top of the cube. Don't do that. Keep it in home grip as much as possible if you can. So what you do is R, U2, And once your hand is up here, it's easy to transition into an R2 like that. U prime, R2, U prime, R2, U2, R. Oh yeah, and also double flicks there. I'm noticing you go like this when you're doing your solves. Just learn the double flick as well, especially on both hands, because it's really essential and learning, especially in this OLL algorithm. Yeah, you don't have to match up the bar at all the time. So if you have something like this U perm right here, you don't have to match it up and come over here and make sure all of these corners are matched up like that. You don't have to do that. Just do it from this angle, and then it's actually easier to just do the AUF at the end rather than rotating to make it correct. Okay, and you actually do a J perm here. This PLL right here, the G perm, is actually a fairly simple one. And make sure you want to know full PLL if you want to be sub 20. That's a key fundamental that you have to learn. It goes like this: R2, U, R prime, U, R prime, U prime, R, U prime, R2, U prime, and then D at the same time. So like this. And then R prime, U, R, D prime. And now you're just left with the U perm. I'm pretty sure your execution is fine. Yeah, it looks pretty solid there. Okay, so now we're moving on to solve number 3 here. Okay, so what you do immediately is move this piece over to solve it. I don't know if that's the best thing here because you want to influence all of your pieces. Here's my solution for this cross. So I would do an F over here to move this piece. Move this piece over here because I know this piece over here can just be solved with a D, and once I put this in, I'm able to do a D and solve them both. But I notice this piece over here, I can do a U prime, and when I'm bringing this in, it'll allow me to put them both in at the same time. And then right after, I know this piece ends up here, D2, F prime, and then a D. Okay, and right here, I can already notice your cross. You're kind of fumbling, and you're really unsure about it, what exactly your cross pieces are. That's the most intuitive thing, and what I would recommend is just doing casual solves, untimed solves, and that you're just able to recognize how the pieces move around the cube, and so you're able to find the best solution possible. Ideally, you want a solution under 8 moves. Yeah, that is a pretty slow cross compared to your other solves. But you do a lot of unnecessary U moves here. The pair is right here, and then here's the corner, here's the edge down here, and immediately, okay, you take it out like that. That's good. And also this pair, I know you're going to rotate and put it into this slot over here, the back right slot. But like I said before, doing that insert S, R, S prime, like that, it's a lot easier instead of just rotating. Yep, there you go. You rotate it into that. Okay, now you're looking to your last pair. Again, look ahead is something you need to work on. So you took out this corner, and I'm not sure if you're going to do this pair or not. Looks like it. Okay, so when you're over here, don't take out that corner. You don't want to do that during a solve because you can easily influence it to something else. Like if we're taking a look here, this is the edge and this is the corner right here. So what you could do is the U prime and then R, U, R prime, and that sets it up to a split pair. It's this case right here. You just do a U prime here, R, U, R prime, and then it sets it up to a split pair. So cases like that, and it gives you a free pair. Pretty nice here. I would honestly do the same thing. Okay, instead of doing unnecessary U3 right there, I would just do a U prime and then insert it into the back. Okay, and that is not good. Inserting the pair into the front, and be sure to rotate so your pairs will be in the back and you'll have that front right slot open. And yeah, you inserted there, not the best. But you also could have done this solution 2-gen. Instead of rotating and also in the same position, you just do a U and then also, you know, the standard alg there. But I believe you rotate. Okay, look ahead. Yeah, once again, your look ahead isn't the greatest here. Okay, make sure you have them in your muscle memory. Okay, next up, this OLO here, but that's also another really easy case. So it's this case right here. What you do is hold it in the back. Make sure you have this block over here, and you have the two edges over here to R, U2, R2, F, R, F prime, R, U2, R prime. Okay, lastly, this alg here. I am not quite sure about how you... Okay, I'm not quite sure about how you do that alg. Like, that alg is definitely something that I did not know. This alg I use normally with the headlights in the front. I do R2, D, R prime, U2, R, D prime, R prime, U2, R prime. Instead of doing that algorithm that was pretty long, you have a G perm, I believe, from this angle, GC perm. Okay, and yeah, don't match up the bar there. You do a T perm here. Okay, to look, I gotta say, learn all those PLLs. I don't know if it's just the G perms, but be sure to just batch them and learn a couple at a time because some of them have the same triggers, some of them are opposites, and yeah, just something to work on here. And your execution, once again, pretty good. And there we go. Those were all your solves. What I would recommend is to just honestly work on like every aspect of your solve. At least I would say learning PLLs is really important, and I gotta say that is your top priority. And number two, I would say, is to work on your cross, because it's an intuitive step. Watching a lot of walkthrough solves, I think I have a couple of walkthrough solves on my channel. If you need to, let me know and I can break down a cross for any scramble if you'd like. Your F-duel honestly isn't like that bad, but I would just say being more comfortable with the cases, and especially lookahead, that's especially something that is really important. Be sure to look at the piece you're going to solve next, and apart from that, OLL, we don't have to worry about that yet until you're maybe sub 15 or so to learn everything. That is all. Those are my recommendations. Hope you did enjoy this critique. Thank you so much for submitting your solves. Thank you so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe. Catch you guys in my next video. Peace.